Let us pray. Dear Father in heaven, we come here tonight from our different homes and places, gathered from varied circumstances of life to share and celebrate the completion of these educational opportunities for our young women and men. We thank you for the achievements of learning and personal growth that they have accomplished, prompted by the challenges that have demanded almost more than they thought they could achieve. We give thanks for family members and friends who have supported and shared these years with our children, so that with encouragement and caring they have found the personal resources to assimilate these opportunities of education. We remember tonight the many faculty members and members of the administration over these years, as they have spent time in the mutual process of learning with our children. We pray of you, dear Father, that they may find encouragement and satisfaction in the growing minds and spirits of these our young people, now having passed through these years with them in the pursuit of learning and wisdom. Especially now we pray that your spirit of truth and loving grace will fill and guide our children in this new ending and new beginning of their lives. May they remember with joy the passing years and relationships, and may they find in all their coming years the richness of knowledge learned, wisdom gained, and friendship savored. We celebrate tonight the achievements of all these your good gifts in these our dear children. In the name of our Lord we pray. Amen.
In my family's kitchen is a small framed counted cross stitch. It reads, "It is better to dare mighty things and fail than to live in a gray twilight where there is neither victory nor defeat." The basic idea behind this phrase came from former President Theodore Roosevelt. And these words are no more important than at an event such as this. As we, the class of '89, go our separate ways, we should keep in mind this phrase, for we are entering an ever-changing world. As we look forward, we see in only 207 days, we will enter a new decade, the last decade in this, the 20th century. We should understand that we will be the leaders and the innovators in both this coming decade and into the 21st century. We should understand that society, though, is plagued by famine, violence, poverty, and drugs. And these problems will not vanish with those who created them, and they will only worsen if left unattended. Thus, ultimately, the burdens of our society will be resting upon our shoulders, and we shall be the ones looking for solutions to these problems. Society is placing its trust and hope in us to better the world we live in. Now, at this point, my classmates may be a bit unnerved and wondering, what can one person do against problems such as these? Not much, as an individual. However, if we all work together, we can understand that we can make society what we want it. Society, we should realize, though, is a complicated thing, and it will present many challenges to all of us throughout our lives. We will not always meet with victory or even success. More than once, we shall realize failure. However, we must understand that failure in itself is not wrong, but allowing failure to occur without attempting to stop it, this is wrong. We must understand that once we take a stance in something, we shall dig our heels in and realize the buck stops here. And if we are forced to take a step back, we shall do so begrudgingly and with intense resistance. And we must also realize that we can never waver in our cause, for if we allow self-doubt into our heart, we are lost. We must understand that we cannot allow setbacks to weaken us. We must allow them to strengthen us. We must come back from them, more devoted and stronger towards our cause. We cannot simply shrug our shoulders and ignore them. No, we cannot do this. We must understand that we have to practice this dogged determination, and we must show it to the rest of the world through example. We must understand that this sort of determination is what will make our society what we want. We also must understand that it is our responsibility to attempt to bring to resolution the problems of our world. For if we do not, we will enter that gray twilight Roosevelt spoke of. The gray twilight would mean death for both the individual and society. Not a spiritual death necessarily, not a physical one either, but a combination of both. We will lose what makes us the masters of our own world if we lose our will and our intellect. We must understand that if we enter the gray twilight, we will continue unchecked towards our own stagnation, which ignorance and neglect allow to occur. We must understand that at all costs we must avoid this gray twilight. And we shall do this because we must be a generation of action. We cannot sit idly by and only observe. We must act, and swiftly, to cure the ills of our society. It was another Roosevelt, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who said to his country in a time of crisis, "We have nothing to fear but fear itself." So I, to my classmates, say, we also have nothing to fear. For when we begin to fear failure, we will fail to our end. We must understand that there are no barriers holding us back. We must advance both as an individual and as a society. We must realize that there is nothing, absolutely nothing, that can deter us from reaching our goals. Thank you.
We live in a time which is too often dominated by quantity instead of quality or excellence. And we live in a society which too easily judges more as being better and too readily accepts a get-by attitude. It's therefore, I believe, very, very uplifting that we recognize those students who strive for, who attain, and then also maintain standards of excellence. This evening, I'm very proud to introduce to you a young man who has done just that. For 3 years, he has striven for, he has attained, and for this 3-year period, he has maintained, despite being enrolled in a highly rigorous academic program, the highest academic average for his class. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would please join me in recognizing the honor student for the class of 1989, G. Thomas Leverett.
Members of the Board of Education, Dr. Place, Mr. Seifert, faculty, parents, the Reverend clergy, relatives and friends of the graduating class, and members of the class of 1989. Representing the Rotary Club of Lancaster, I'm happy to have the privilege of presenting the Dr. Harvey A. Smith Award. For many years, Dr. Smith was superintendent of the Lancaster City School District, in which he served with distinction until his death. Dr. Smith was president of the Lancaster Rotary Club 1952 to 1953. Over 25 years ago, an anonymous donor contributed a liberal sum of money to the Lancaster Rotary Club to establish the Dr. Harvey A. Smith Memorial Fund. The income from this fund makes possible the yearly Dr. Harvey A. Smith Award to a member of the graduating class of the J.P. McCaskey High School. Provisions of the trust state that the recipient of the award shall be selected by the senior class and faculty. It further stated that the controlling considerations in the selection of the student are to be those qualities of selfless service to the school community and the students which Dr. Smith demonstrated to the civic community and its citizens. These qualities, incidentally, coincide with the ideals of Rotary and the Rotary motto, service above self. Therefore, the award has a twofold purpose: to recognize the student outstanding in the qualities similar to those demonstrated by Dr. Smith, and to help perpetuate Dr. Smith's name as one of Lancaster's distinguished educators. The student selected for this year's award is Andrew Charles Cross. Andy, will you come forward? This award consists of two parts: a check for $500 and this certificate, which reads, Certificate of Recognition, the Harvey A. Smith Award, presented the 7th day of June, 1989, by the Rotary Club of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, to Andrew Charles Cross, who, in the opinion of his fellow classmates in the faculty of J.P. McCaskey High School, best exemplifies selfless service to the school community and the students, high standards of conduct, and pride in being a part of the high school. Congratulations.
The Clarence M. Ebersol Memorial Award. This award honors the memory of Mr. Clarence M. Ebersol. Mr. Ebersol was, for many years, a teacher of social studies at McCaskey High School and later chairman of the social studies department. Upon his death in 1966, his family instituted this award. In 1986, the award was continued by a generous benefactor in the McCaskey community. The award is presented annually to a graduating senior student who has done outstanding work in the social studies during their high school career and who exemplifies the high standards of character and citizenship which Mr. Ebersol tried to instill in all his students. The recipient of this award is selected by a vote of the McCaskey High School social studies faculty. It consists of a certificate and a check for $150. The student selected this year is Beth Pinsker.
For the second straight year, the school district of Lancaster had the highest dropout rate of the 501 school districts in the state of Pennsylvania. The shocking 10.3% per year exceeded even the dropout rates of the inner-city Philadelphia school districts. Last year, over 420 students dropped out, and the numbers don't look much better this year. I remember trudging into McCaskey on a hot September day 3 years ago. When our class finally filed into the gymnasium, over 700 students crowded the gym floor. Last year, printed on my report card, was class size 495 people. It's staggering. To be blunt, not only are we dropout state champions, but we seem to be establishing a dynasty. Despite this, for whatever reason, those of us sitting here in this room tonight did not drop out. We are graduating. What is the difference? One common justification for students quitting school is Lancaster's flourishing economy and low unemployment rate. It is quite easy, even for high school students, to find a job offering attractive wages, especially when these students have no dependents relying on them for support. Others simply grow bored of school. They're tired, turned off by learning. They may be back next year. They probably won't. Others, sadly, have serious enough drug problems to simply not care. In our modern society, it is possible to become wealthy without a high school diploma. It can happen. But solar eclipses also happen. But I think if you look up at the sky tomorrow, you'll see the same old yellow sun. Statistics prove beyond the shadow of a doubt that students with high school diplomas earn substantially more than those without. The problem is to convince students to postpone immediate gratification for future benefits. This is something that we as a society, not just as high school students, have trouble doing. There's another, more abstract, but even more important reason why students should stay in school. Those of us graduating tonight have an education. We have been taught polynomials and the Civil War, grammar and biology. Admittedly, knowing who General Custer was, or what mitosis is, will probably not help us with our future careers. However, when we turn on the news at night, we will better be able to understand what's going on in the world. If students are demonstrating in China to attain democratic principles, we will know where China is and can understand why the students are demonstrating. With an education, we're better prepared to handle the math and vocabulary involved in filling in a tax return or balancing a checkbook. In other words, we're better prepared to handle the economic responsibilities of a career. With an education, we're better informed to make important community decisions. Most importantly, at one time in the future, we will be able to help our children with their arithmetic, writing, and spelling. Many dropouts never will. They never will because they cannot. I am not speaking to attack dropouts. I've had friends who got a job and called it quits, and I still like them and still respect them. However, I do feel that everyone graduating here tonight has an important advantage over them. This advantage is our education. And education and its virtues have been discussed and supported throughout the course of human history. Herbert Spencer, one of Britain's leading philosophers during the 19th century, credits education with the formation of character. Plutarch, a Roman essayist and biographer, wrote that the very spring and root of honesty and virtue lie in a good education. Epictetus, a Greek Stoic, taught that only the educated are truly free. Character, honesty, virtue, freedom of spirit and mind, all are attributed to education. Because of our years at McCaskey High School, we're better prepared to enter the workforce, the armed forces, or continue our education at various colleges and universities. But whatever we do, whatever goals we pursue, and whatever realities we must face, we will always have a sound, basic education, that most valuable of commodities. And so I thank McCaskey High School for the education it has given me, and I congratulate those who are willing to take advantage of it. I congratulate the graduating class of 1989. Thank you.
spring of 1975, a group of McCaskey teachers, believing that recognition of the graduating senior girl who had distinguished herself in the study of English was long overdue, began deliberations to inaugurate a companion award to the John Pearsall McCaskey Award for Excellence in English. The committee deemed it proper to name the new Girls Award in honor of a woman who had herself exemplified and inspired excellence in English as a teacher in the schools of Lancaster for 40 years. The esteem in which Catherine Buckwalter was and is held by her friends, her former colleagues, and her former students is ample evidence that excellence in English be synonymous with the example and encouragement of Catherine Buckwalter. Thus, it gives me great pleasure to present, for extraordinary proficiency in the use of the English language, an extraordinary understanding of and appreciation of literature, the 14th Annual Catherine M. Buckwalter Award to Miss Heidi Stoltzfus. The John Pearsall McCaskey Award, now in its 29th year, resulted from the merger of two earlier awards, one established in 1926 in honor of Dr. McCaskey's 89th birthday, and the other in 1940 to coincide with the dedication of the new McCaskey High School. The inaugurators of both awards were groups of former students of Dr. McCaskey. Their aims were to perpetuate the influence Dr. McCaskey had on the education of the young men of Lancaster, and to encourage among male students of J.P. McCaskey High School a proficiency in the study of American and English literature and language. And so since 1961, when the two awards were combined, we have honored annually a graduating young gentleman with the John Pearsall McCaskey Award for Excellence in English. It gives me great pleasure to present this prestigious award to Martin B. Fetter.
The Hall of Honor Award was inspired by the class of 1979, which was a rather outstanding class. Since its initiation, it has become perhaps our most prestigious award. The award is presented excuse me, annually by the faculty of J.P. McCaskey High School. The faculty selects a number of candidates to be considered. They then carefully check the credentials of these young men and women and ultimately select a winner. The recipients' achievements and characteristics are to be in the areas of scholarship, school service, extracurricular activities, personality, and good citizenship. The 1989 recipients' achievements and characteristics are, I believe, appropriately representative of that class of 1979. A young man who is academically gifted in math and science as well as the humanities, a talented athlete, someone who is always involved in school affairs, willing to serve and also to help others, certainly a recognized leader at McCaskey High School, a friend to many and a supporter of many. A very positive young man and a respected influence in this school. In addition to receiving a certificate of merit, this year's recipient, as those preceding him, will have his portrait mounted in the McCaskey Hall of Honor this evening. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you would please, acknowledge with me considerable degree of pride and affection the 1989 Hall of Honor recipient, G. Thomas Levering, Jr.
class of '89, the commencement exercise is more than listening to speeches, receiving your diploma, and being applauded for your accomplishments. It is, in fact, a testimony of the many years of hard work that you, your parents, your teachers, the counselors, the administrators, and the board of directors have provided are given to provide the opportunity for you to receive an excellent education. Every member of the class in some way has had an impact on your successes and failures. You have demonstrated, however, throughout your years here at J.P. McCaskey that you are, in a real sense, a class of winners. You have shown this not only in the academic areas, in sports and other extracurricular activities, but by the very fact that you remained in school, and tonight you're receiving your diplomas and are graduating. Now, your graduation is the first step that will usher you into a bright but uncertain future. What you have learned here at McCaskey and throughout your years of education has prepared you to meet the challenges with confidence and resolve. For some of you, it may take a little longer to accomplish what you want, but accomplish it you will. Just as long as you keep your eyes on the prize and work diligently to reach your goals. Good luck. You're truly a class of champions. God bless you.
I'll be addressing the class shortly. Before I do that, however, I would like if you would join with me in recognizing a group of individuals on the stage who are not formally being recognized this evening, but I think certainly deserve our taking a moment to do that before we recognize the class, before we recognize those who have really been under their care for the past 3 years. I believe that the community of Lancaster is exceptionally fortunate to have such a caring as well as competent group of instructors. I think as far as their caring is concerned, one of the major attributes of this faculty, and I think that that is demonstrated this evening and every evening at commencement time. I don't know how many of you are aware of it, but in most schools today, there are very few faculty members that attend their commencement, and at McCaskey, all of the faculty members do. So if you would please join with me in recognizing the very distinguished faculty of J.P. McCaskey High School. I would appreciate if the faculty would please stand. Thank you. I've always been fascinated by the idea that human conditions change, but that human nature remains constant. And that, of course, is why the past offers us so much insight, and why a story from Benjamin Franklin written in the mid-18th century has some relevancy for us today. A quote from one of Mr. Franklin's letters. When I was a child of 7 years old, my friends on a holiday filled my pocket with coppers. I went directly to a shop where they sold toys for children, and being charmed with the sound of a whistle, I gave all my money for one. I then came home and went whistling all over the house, much pleased with my whistle, but disturbing all of my family. My brothers and sisters and cousins, understanding the bargain I had made, told me I had given 4 times as much for it as it was worth, put me in mind of what good things I might have bought for it, and laughed at me so much for the folly that I cried. The reflection gave me more pain than the whistle gave me pleasure. This, however, was afterward of use to me. When I was tempted to buy some unnecessary thing, I told myself, don't give too much for the whistle, and I saved myself money. As I grew up, came into the world, and observed the actions of men, I thought I met with many, very many, who gave too much for the whistle. When, for example, Franklin saw someone very ambitious, but losing respect and friends to gain some personal end, he said such a person gives too much for his whistle. Likewise, when he saw a miser failing to help others so that he could accumulate more of his own wealth, he said again, he has paid too much for his whistle. Simply, Franklin believed that a great part of the miseries of mankind were brought upon by themselves, by false estimates they had made on the value of things, and therefore by giving too much for their whistles. In a sense, when you, as a member of the class of 1989, entered McCaskey 3 years ago, you had the opportunity to buy one of your lifetime whistles. Along the way, some of the class who were choosing to just get by finally decided not to try at all. Others found the instant gratification of taking days off, or the immediate payback of a low-skilled job, or even the easy access to drugs and alcohol to be of greater value than attending school. They have chosen very expensive whistles. Here at McCaskey, you have tasted of the greatest riches of life, being able to know, to understand, and to value human diversity. If you have experienced this richness of life and have learned from it, you have developed empathy, enough human understanding to feel what others feel. And once had, this becomes in turn compassion, which then comes full circle and contributes to your own depth and sense of worth. In this common partaking and sharing and exchanging at McCaskey, you have also experienced personal achievements and disappointments, joys and sorrows, loves and disillusionments. These have become part of you. You have matured here, become young men and women, and your growth has been well nurtured by McCaskey. This has been your initiation into life. In this time, you grew in every way. You matured, your mind and your world expanded. You acquired skills and knowledge that have become a permanent part of what you are still becoming. Your years here and your years ahead of you will come together. The ultimate meaning of your life and how you will handle the expectations awaiting you will not suddenly be discovered. They will evolve, but they will evolve from the beginning, from your foundations here. Who you are tonight, who you have been, and what you have been here will always show through as knowledge, experience, and memories you'll never quite erase, but in fact will draw upon in making decisions, I believe, well-founded value judgments, not false estimates. Tonight, the most important things to think about as you stand for your commencement, for your receiving of your diploma, as you just stand back to take a good look at yourself, is the future and what will be expected of you. I hope you seek, based upon what we have given you, the knowledge, understanding, ability to sort out the best from the commonplace. I believe we have given you what you need to do that, to select wisely in the future. You have earned something of worth at McCaskey. In a sense, we have filled your pockets with coppers. Their ultimate value, however, will depend upon how well you use them. So go from here and look for whistles of lasting value. Dr. Place? Dr. Place, by unanimous vote of the faculty of John Pearsall McCaskey High School, the 415 members of the senior class are recommended to become the 55th class to be graduated in the proud 51-year history of the school. With great admiration and a deep affection, I present to you, Dr. Place, the class of 1989.
Thank you, Mr. Seifert. Mark White, President of the Class of 1989. Graduates, of the class of 1989, honored faculty, administration, and staff, honored Board of School Directors and President Harold White, parents, grandparents, brothers and sisters, family and friends. I'd like to take a few minutes to describe the class of 1989. These are based on my own observation, as well as on remarks and observations of the high school administration and the high school faculty. It's a group of students that has persevered in the face of adversity. It's a class with a large number of students who have not only participated in, but excelled in the academics, athletics, music, drama, and community service. I might add parenthetically that at the senior honors banquet that we had earlier this week, we had more students honored for these activities than in the history of McCaskey. A class with a large number of truly outstanding leaders. A class which contains a great number of humane, very creative, very intelligent, very caring students who have provided many services to the school and to the community. A class with very diverse talents. Students who have worked together and cared about each other's accomplishments. I'd like to say a few words in addition to describing the class. Your senior year at McCaskey has been a truly historic year in terms of worldwide affairs. With the opening of the Soviet Union, best described through the perestroika and the glasnost that has occurred. For the first time since 1947, there have been free elections in Poland that have resulted in members of the Solidarity Party gaining control of the newly formed Senate. And last but not least, the struggle for democracy that is going on this very minute in China, more specifically in Beijing and in Tiananmen Square. This has marked your senior year, the struggle for democracy in countries that are totalitarian, communistic, and guided by the philosophy of Karl Marx. You will look at your children's history books and you will note that the year of 1988 and 89 was truly a monumental year. It's the year that you had your senior year at McCaskey, the year in which you graduated, and the moment that you were on the stage, the struggle in China was continuing to occur. It's an epic time. On behalf of the staff, the board, I'd like to extend my congratulations to you, to your family, and to your friends. Thank you very much.
The marshals will now present the class according to previous instructions. Assisting in the presentation of diplomas this evening will be the members of the McCaskey administration, Kathleen Kuzmiak, Ronald Rill, Casey Jones, and Eugene Leda. Jennifer Diane Wilcox. Migdalia Martinez. Carmencita Calixto. Catalina Lopez. Jennifer L. Sensening. Sandra Yvette Berga. Mona L. Lewis. Huang Ting No. Elizabeth A. Harlan. Hannah M. Baer. Robin L. Hook. Jean Marie Omi. Jacqueline Rivera. Marisol Rivera. Maritza Sanchez. Salinas Santiago. Victoria A. Guy. Deanna Teresa Campbell. Jacqueline Gates. Yolanda E.G. Dixon. Juan T. Huang. Heidi J. Martin. Andrea L. Coons. Cheryl Press. Lon H. Funk. Beth L. Pinsker. Tina Marie Menser. Candace Dawn Munzingo. Heather A. Wright. Angela Ray Lyon. Nancy Santana. Shirley Ann Murray. Jennifer Lee Nagel. Holly Beth Mosher. Susie Nguyen. Nancy Maldonado. Carolyn Marie Lord. Dorothea Brown. Nicole Lynn Diffenderfer. Christina Alston. Quang Duong. Ella M. Betts. Our class historian, Tanya C. Graham. Amy E. Antonucci. Christy Ann Reichenbach. Miriam Grantham. Nguyen T. Huang. Patricia L. Eloquent. Ella Renee Davidson. Cheryl K. Leister. Wendy Lopez. Brenda I. Lozano. Billy Joe Lyons. Sonia Noemi Morales. Tan Van Tidon. Tao Piti Nguyen. Della Ann Yoakum. Jody Elizabeth Richardson. Celia I. Roman. Kristen Renee Moran. Nancy Paris. Julianne M. McConley. Yvette M. Schaub. Sherry A. Woods. Brooke Raynette Walls. Sarah Alexis Baker. Heather Lee Guerin. Jennifer Lynn Reynolds. Lori Ann Phillips. Monica Bankus. Patricia Ann Kilheffer. Beth Louise Brown. Jennifer Lynn Becker. Amy J. Hostetter. Pamela A. Maxwell. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you one of our exchange students this year, Yolanda Pinacho. Yolanda is from Spain. Yolanda has been one of several exchange students we've had at McCaskey this year. There are two of them who will be graduating this evening. Others have been underclassmen and are not graduating with us. Yolanda, in one moment, however, will be addressing you on behalf not only of her classmate who will be graduating with her, but also all of the exchange students who have been at McCaskey this year. Before she does that, however, I would like to thank Miss Kathleen Rowe for hosting Yolanda this year, and I'd also, if they would please, stand. Yolanda's parents from Spain, Ignacio and Dolores Pinacho, are also here. Could they please stand?
We, the exchange students, Lars from Germany, Luis from Mexico, Pia from Finland, Brenda from South Africa, and myself, would like to thank the principal, Mr. Isar, Mr. Seifert, and the faculty for giving us the opportunity to come to McCaskey. During the year, we visited different high schools, and we have come to the conclusion that we like McCaskey the best. We say this because this school has many special programs and activities for all cultures. In our home country, we would not have had the chance to experience so many different cultures. We are thankful for having the teachers that we had who helped us in everything that they could, for accepting us and being friendly to us. We give a special thanks to Mr. Ross, our advisor, who was very, very helpful and took care of any problems that we had. Our host families, Dr. and Mrs. Garres, Mr. and Mrs. Forrest, Mrs. McNamara, Mrs. Rao, and Mrs. Stauffer were great. They made us feel very comfortable and helped us adjust to our new situation here in the United States. We felt we were part of the family, not a guest, especially when we were doing family chores, like washing dishes, folding clothes, etc. I was really worried about passing my courses here because I didn't know very much English and I didn't know what to expect from the school. My brother, who was an exchange student in 1986, told me not to worry about my classes, that I could do it. I didn't think that I could, but now I am graduating. If it were not for our host families, we would probably not have done as well as we did. We hope that the same students next year are as lucky as we were with our host families. It is incredible how good we got along with them. They are now our second families, our American families. We will always remember our host families and we appreciate their work for us very much. Even if we had a great school, wonderful teachers, and incredible host families, if we didn't have friends here, we would not have had such a good year. So last but not least, we pay thank you to all our friends and classmates who made us feel like McCaskey was home. We want to thank you, our guidance counselors, for giving us a special attention. And now I want to give a special thank you to my parents who are here tonight for giving me the opportunity to come to US. And I want to say them some words in Spanish because they don't understand English. Papá, mamá, gracias por darme la oportunidad de venir a Estados Unidos a hacer COU. Estoy muy orgullosa de vosotros y os quiero decir que os quiero mucho. Gracias. In conclusion, our year was a notable success. I got a nickname to call America, and it is the smiling country because I think that everybody smiles all the time. And finally, our year was a notable success, and thank you to all who made it the way for us. Thank you.
Appreciation for their spending the year with us, we would like to present to Yolanda, in fact to all of our exchange students, not only a certificate of our appreciation, but also an American flag which has flown over the nation's capital, and also a copy of the Heritage of Lancaster written by John Ward Luce and also inscribed by him. And I hope it brings back fond memories of Lancaster and McCaskey. Charles H. Hogan II. Robert S. Klein III. Christopher James Lawrence. Robert W. Bonner. Matthew T. Herron. William R. Hanna Jr. Matthew A. Grosh. Mark Vidot. Hector Ruiz. Carl E. Mummert. Natalie M. Harnley. Beth Ann Barr. Laura M. Eshelman. Rosalind Sanchez. Carmen V. Rodriguez. Stephanie A. Winter. Wendy S. Weaver. Rebecca H. Yoder. Heather J. Plummer. Rebecca A. Shevler. Andrew Shell Musselman. Tyron A. Brown. Spencer William Wiggenrock. Wayne Stevens. Sean P. Lead. Jason Anthony Myers. Danny Morales. George K. Manajas. Mark Anthony Urban. Mark A. Mueller. Pedro Alberto Santos. Our class vice president, Ruth E. Garcia. Jennifer L. Souders. Dina M. McEwen. Selenette Rosa. Maida E. Perez. Leda Rivera. Roxanne Morton. Shenabelle Reynosa. Kelly Lynn Montgomery. Lindell Marie Potts. Tracy C. Blythe. Roger A. Place, Jr. Jonathan D. McMillan. Hoy K. Luong. Pedro Saladas, Jr. Miguel A. Pabon, Jr. Morel Devon Mobley. Jose L. Manguel, Jr. Francis B. Lloyd. Warren Jones. Stephen H. DeBowitz. Darrell Brian Harsh. Lori A. Judith. Wendy L. Fujaniti. Christina Marie Aguirre. Sherry M. Wickersham. Karen M. Traylor. Doris Y. Almodovar. Jacqueline D. Turpak. Nadia M. Torres. Michelle L. Wise. Yvonne M. Schaefer. Leda I. Perez. John H. May. Victor M. Gonzalez. Eric R. Guyman. Vaughn Sullenberger, Jr. Herbert W. Zimmerman. Joseph B. Vertigan. Michael G. Watring. Alan J. Thompson. Corey J. Lloyd. Richard Short. William G. Perkins, Jr. Denise M. Galen. Carmen M. Skaggs. Deanna Marie Russell. Katrina A. Reed. Elizabeth Ann Rank. Kelly M. Coffrow. Cindy D. Brooks. Jennifer J. White. Patricia Ann Wright. K. E. Rutherford. Tanya J. Polinsky. Christine A. Riley. Thomas Eric Brandt. Michael A. Paris. Frederick Morales. Brian S. Ballard. Yvonne Irizarry. Michael S. Groff. Darren L. Roth. Theodore W. Gecky. Ray D. Frederick. John R. Walk. LaDon Woodward. Carlos B. Schultz. Angela L. Fry. Andrew A. Zug. Shuzzy U. Parker. Iwana Michelle Brown. Yvette Michelle Crespo. Kelly M. Narr. Maria Isabel Arroyo. Anna Yvette Alvarez. Heather Marie Stewart. Condra Renee Walton. Kimberly Ann States. Kelly Marie States. Matthew David Wolstenhume. Robert L. Hurst. Anthony W. Troyer. G. Thomas Levering, Jr. Tom P. Matthias. Willie E. Shell, Jr. Richard P. Horton. Christian M. Holmes. Anthony C. Thomas. Sean P. Wolf. George F. Steckline. Helen Yvonne Buntsman. Brian Scott Deck. Michael Trung Hai No. Chin H. Lee. Coane M. Christian. Vincent Rufrano. Hector Rivera Jr. Tung Fo. Jack R. Seipel III. Sakom Vern Sen. Loy Vin Ban. Huang Min Nguyen. Patrick Hatziniklis. Adam Troy Rothfuss. Nakni Lee. John C. Shuddy. Julio E. Torres. Ravinder Bhatia. Chris Brown. Lamont E. Cook. Michael L. Allen. Keith J. Kirkner. Tin Trung Tran. F. Scott Lichty. Jim Kirkner. Edward Silvis. Jesse J. Yaskalis. Ladies and gentlemen, Louis A. Eber, who is our second exchange student. Louis is from Mexico. It's the first time that I can recall or ever having any parent of an exchange student being able to join us at commencement time. This year, we're fortunate to have the parents of both of our students. Here with Louis this evening is his father, Louis Eber. Could he please stand? Mr. Eber? Of course, I'd like to thank Louis's father and also Mrs. Julie McNamara, who has been his host parent for this year. And Louis, it's been a pleasure for us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Best of wishes. Harold E. Zemer, Jr. Theodore F. Ames. Shaka L. Benton. Doug Bleacher. Elvin Carina. Luis A. Rios. Adam J. Rainier. Julio Garcia. William W. Groff. Bartholomew I. Dubel. Russell I. Carr. Wallace Brubaker. David C. Reese. Manuel Alberto Montalvo. Carlos Anthony Roman. John Peter Azangelis. Samuel R. Young, Jr. James J. Weimer, Jr. Thomas Michael Stallings. Arthur Zanakis. Dennis Gonzalez. Stephen R. Ashba. Jeff A. Bowder. William A. Brown. Oswaldo Cora. Alan L. Roth. Anthony J. Homer. Paul Carpathius. Keith Allen Murray. Albert H. Lee. Marcos A. Reveron. Steve L. Randler. Scott D. Schertzer. David B. Miley. Martin B. Fetter. Karen E. Jensen. Danielle Renee DeBoer. Maribel Gonzalez. Catherine E. Gorey. Marilyn Guerrero. Alice C. Givas. Shiva Gafiri. Tracy Lynn Armstrong. Lee Whitney Andrew. Jerry A. Gordner. Paul A. Reedy. Michael I. Gebhardt. Paul J. Burnett, Jr. Michael T. Fauber. Michael A. Dugan. Thomas M. Adams. William Anthony Vasquez. Jose A. Majero. Anthony D. Springer. Sofal P. Sibb. Catherine Ann Marlin. Laura Ann Pugh. Zoma Morales. Michelle L. Lefebvre. Susan L. Landis. Lisa M. Kitch. Wendy Carl. Jennifer L. Bauer. Angela L. Henson. Rhonda J. McVeigh. Melissa L. McKinney. Anthony Marion. James M. Mark. Mark J. Lennon. Christian S. Hess. Jabe Orion Crops. David J. Brahowski. William E. DeVerter. Rajneesh Bhatia. Gregory Charles Donatelli. Neville H. Dixon. Hui Tidang. Kathleen E. Giuliani. Latanya A. Wesley. Jordana Beth Maurer. Tabitha Y. Miller. Sidney P. Shelton. Brenda L. Long. Diana Lopez. Danilda Rodriguez. Connie C. Tien. Patricia A. Whitmer. Francis T. Yeager. Jaime E. Pensone. Donald B. Zook. Michael E. Wade. Joseph Andrew Pierce. Zane R. Spencer. Edwin Pabon. Stephen C. Schultz. Ramberto Torres Jr. Brannon Stern. Wendy J. Ritter. Sandra L. Coates. Maribel Alvarado. Nicole M. Ray. Maria Elena Diaz. Sabrina Michelle Carroll. Renee Michelle Binkley. Jennifer L. Frace. Kathy Rochelle Kirshner. Krista Lauren Wilson. Claudia M. Vargas. Brian David Souders. Roberto Rosado. Alexander S. Godwin. Jeffrey Lee Ford. Kevin Lamont Baber. William G. Duschel. Noah Dueno. Gordon R. Strassenberg. Michael L. Weiler. Carlos R. Rivera. An Cutrin. Linda S. Fleetman. Berta Ramona Saldana. Lori Lynn Ressel. Angela Renee Reed. Kelly Amir Primes. Deborah Ann Johnson. Angela Hoskins. Angelica Brito. Tara L. Bigler. Diana Beam Hess. Kimberly Ann Hall. Kong An Tron. Donald Morant. Kenneth G. Myers. Stephen A. Rice. Timothy L. Redkay. Eric K. Jones. Andre J. Johnson. Lamont E. Dumbach. Jonathan K. Brooks. Charles L. Harris. James Sean Bleacher. Kristen L. Schnee. Mary K. Purcell. Jacqueline Diaz. Susan M. Cummings. Joan Elisa Boppel. Lisa M. Todd. Allison Taylor Swift. Shannon E. Evans. Regina S. Jones. Carmen D. Siderici. Michelle Nicole Peters. Christine Lynn Pearson. Anthony D. Shoemaker. Hector M. Torres. Matthew Edward Rudder. Kenneth Patrick Dons. Sean E. Boynes. Robert C. Dormer. John Robert Finger. Brian K. Edmond. Byron K. Edmond, excuse me. Tyrone A. Stewart. Mark Quinn Stallworth. Ronald G. Piper. Brian K. Schreiner. Heidi Stoltzfus. Our class treasurer, Andrew Charles Cross. Peter David Horn. William B. Raish. Our senior class president, Mark Lamont White.
Members of the class of 1989, by the power vested in me as President of the Board of School Directors, and on behalf of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, I hereby declare you graduates of the class of 1989 of the John Pearsall McCaskey High School of Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Every graduating class feels that they are special and unique. We, the class of '89, in my view, are unique indeed. We came together as sophomores and set our sights high, put our shoulders to the wheel, and pressed steadily ahead, and accomplished more than we realistically expected to. Yes, we have had a lot of help along the way, and for that, we are grateful. We have had 3 wonderful and productive years here at McCaskey. We have been strengthened by our diverse backgrounds, blessed with our talents, and also blessed with talented unselfish classmates, guided by fantastic faculty and administrators, and embellished by the family atmosphere that makes J.P. McCaskey a place for all students. What will our legacy be? And how will we be remembered? We have tried and demonstrated that through faith and hard work, that all things are possible. Our sophomore inabilities and disabilities were blended together with our junior year experiences, so that when we became seniors, we had developed into a class with extraordinary abilities. We ask that you remember us kindly as the class that cared, as the class that shared, as the class that through love and hard work finally put it all together and left J.P. McCaskey a place for all people. Now, George, as I pass this torch to you and to the class of 1990, I am also passing on to you the responsibility of a senior class. You have the duty to provide responsible and dependable leadership that will improve the school's atmosphere so that J.P. McCaskey will always remain a school for all people. This is our wish, this is our desire, and that is our legacy to you and to the class 1990, George. Good luck, and God bless. I'd add one other thing to the end of that speech. I'm proud to announce that our class will be sponsoring the first alumni scholarship fund that will be given out to George's class next year at commencement. All the leftover funds from our various fundraisers will be put into the scholarship. And each class, each senior class will continue to put money into the scholarship so the scholarship will continue to grow and mature, and so that some senior out there graduating will have the opportunity to attend college and be the best that they can be. Thank you, and God bless.
On behalf of the class of 1990, I accept this torch and promise to uphold the level of excellence and mark of superiority that the class of 1989 has exhibited in every facet of their careers here at John Pearsall McCaskey High School. Each one of these students assembled here tonight began at the foot of a mountain with the eagerness to conquest its might and find the truths that await at the peak. With each day they progressed. They got closer and closer to the mountaintop by weathering off the storms and fighting off the temptations of making their way back down the mountain. They have endured, and they have reached the mountaintop. To the class of 1989, I say this: even though you have reached the mountaintop, do not let this be the end, because the end is now the beginning. Let today embrace the past with remembrance, and more importantly, let today embrace the future with a longing for success and a strive for continued excellence. Once again, I congratulate you, and I commend you for a job well done, and I hope that your prosperity carries over into the next step of your lives. Thank you.
Yes,
And now, my brothers and sisters, I invite you to go forth into the world to serve God and to do so with gladness. And be courageous in your service by holding fast to that which is good, by giving to no one evil for evil, by strengthening those who are discouraged, by supporting the weak, helping the afflicted, and honoring justice for all people. And in doing so, we will love and serve God in the lives that we live. Therefore, may the blessings of God be with us now and forevermore. Let us all say, Amen.